I think this thing is cool as hell. Hey, lowriders, are they not your cup of tea? Well, it's really not my cup of tea either. I didn't grow up in the lowrider culture, but I can appreciate it so much. These lowrider guys show attention to detail. They go ahead and plate and box the frames and everything and just weld and smooth everything out so everything breaks on these cars. They have such humongous forces. Look at the springs that these things use. This is enough to hold up a freight train right here. It has a hydraulic cylinder that compresses that spring so you can bring that spring up and down via the hydraulic cylinders. And these are all reinforced spindles and everything then as well. And ball joint pads, A-arms, control arms, everything is all reinforced because of the massive forces that this thing takes to bounce up and down. You would just break and destroy and crack welds and everything else. And I love that these lowrider guys are so focused into details and paint the bottom of the car, paint all the frames, do some engraving, chrome things. The attention to detail is just awesome. And I don't care what kind of guy you are. If you're anything like me, you just love cars. And I don't care what it is, a race car, a lowrider, a freaking four-wheel drive truck. I love them all, and I can appreciate all the difference in details. I love to see the passion that people put into some of their rides. How many people do you know are restoring a muscle car that says, I want to paint the whole bottom of my chassis and everything too. I want to paint the bottom of the floor pan. You know what? I want it to have more travel. I'm going to cut the rear end out of it and have this custom wishbone made up. I'll make some custom link bars on it and make it go up and down. Oh, and you know what? In order to do that, the drive shaft needs to have this crazy telescopic everything, or otherwise it'll blow the drive shaft right out. And that's what's so cool about this culture of people that are into the lowrider cars. This is a friend of mine, John's car. And we're going to fab up a custom exhaust system for him. Well, why? Because he loves the way things look. He has attention to details. So we're going to weld him up a stainless steel exhaust system and start out with some polished mufflers and stuff too. So we'll put our mufflers up in here like this, and we'll get all our piping. And he wants it all the way out the back too, so it's nice and quiet. So we're going to snake all these pipes to go up over all these link bars, so it still has 4 more inches of travel. And we're going to get the exhaust go all the way up in there, corkscrew around, and then come all the way back out. So a lot of twisty bends and everything, a lot of TIG welding left to go. And we got our whole piles of our stainless bends that we're going to just cut up and make into a cool exhaust system for them. So now that'll just be added on to what he's already got going on. We just took the training cross member out of it, and we have to notch that because from the factory, all the exhaust just had one single exhaust pipe. This is, I think, an 85 Regal, if I remember right. So in the 80s, it was smog city central. It would have had a big, massive catalytic converter, 2-into-1, 2¼ inch exhaust, probably, maybe even 2-inch. Big catalytic converter right here, and it would have came back into a giant muffler right here, and then one tailpipe out the side for a whopping V8 305 to probably put out 160 horsepower. So this has an old school small block Chevy in it. It's got a metric 200 transmission in it, which is not a real common it was in the 80s. A lot of the runs run a metric tranny, but they're not super common swap stuff at all, because there really isn't a whole lot of aftermarket parts available and so on and so forth. But it was made in the car and everything. It fits in here. Small block Chevy, all chromed out, tricked out, everything, turnkey on this thing. Super cool car. And you know, when we get done with this, John's gonna take us for a ride in this thing, and we can maybe do some three-wheeling, show you a little bit more what that lowrider culture is all about. And I love the absolute details that these guys are willing to do to these cars, and it's just awesome in my book, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So I don't care what kind of car it is, cars are just cool in my book. You want to make them more cool, you want to make it badass, hey, you got even more respect from me. That's what I'm all about. I want to show you guys different stuff all the time. Not going to be the same old stuff on this channel. You're going to see different stuff all the time. Hope you guys like this ride. We got lots more coming up next. Hopefully we're going to do some three-wheeling next. Don't forget to like this video. Click like, throw me a comment, let me know what you think. Ring the bell for those notifications when we get a new video. We got lots more coming up, guys. A lot of cool stuff coming up. I hope you guys are enjoying the ride.